Okay.
I want to roll those.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
The Business Lab.
All right, guys. This episode is brought to you by our media and venue sponsors, Crowd by 3 and Studio 5 Corp. Welcome to another episode of the Business Lab. Now, for today, I have two very special guests from MUIS Halal Development. Nuraini is the Assistant Head of Stakeholder Engagement, a subunit within the MUIS Halal Development that looks into public education and engagement with various stakeholders such as Muslim consumers, industry players, including MUIS Halal certificate holders, and trade associations. She holds a diploma in chemical process technology, food technology, and bachelor's degree in management. And we have Ustazah Atiqah Abu Bakar. She is the manager of stakeholder engagement, and she holds a bachelor's degree in Islamic theology from Al-Azhar University. Collectively, both Nuraini and Ustazah Atiqah has more than 20 years of experience in the MUIS Halal development across areas such as policies to operations, outreach, and engagement. Welcome to our podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. It's so nice to have both of you here. Right? Is this the first time you guys did a podcast before?
Not a video podcast.
Not
but
a video podcast.
yes.
Okay, so it's the
The
first.
first for me, like
The first for
yeah,
you.
So usually I only do the back end
I see.
things. So yeah,
So this time around it's
bear
the.
with me. I'm a little nervous.
It's okay. We'll see. We're gonna have some fun and have a nice conversation, inshallah. Right. So today we're gonna talk a lot about the halal certification process, policies. You know, I'm sure there are a lot of viewers out there that have questions in their mind. Some of them might want to start a business. Some of them have already started their businesses, and some of them are probably a little bit more advanced entrepreneurs. The first question we're going to start with is: could you provide us with a brief overview of the MUIS Halal Development and its role in certifying products and services for the Muslim market?
All right. Okay. Right. First things first. Under the Administration of Muslim Law Act, MUIS is the sole authority to issue halal certificates in Singapore. So that's the regulatory function. Which means no other organisation or individual is able to provide this service. All right. Of course, with that, it comes a great responsibility where we have a holistic, thorough process of halal certification, which includes the audits, post-certification compliance to ensure the halal integrity is maintained throughout the certification duration. Okay, so that's the regulatory aspect of it. Beyond that, there is also the standards and development, where there is standardization. For example, this particular function of MUIS Halal Development comes up with the halal standards. In fact, we are currently reviewing our MUIS Halal standards to come up with some new standards. This, apart from that, it also looks into the review of MUIS Halal Certification Condition. So that is like the main reference for halal applicants. So when you want to apply for halal certification, you need to comply with the MUIS Halal Certification Conditions. So that's the two references. Apart from that, also we do a foreign halal certification body recognition, FHCB for short. So this is meant by our colleagues from Halal Supply Network. So as some of you may be aware, that Singapore imports over 90% of its food supplies from overseas. So from the halal perspective, what we need to do is to ensure we do not go overseas to certify, because the mandate is only within Singapore locally. So the Halal Supply Network, the team looks into foreign recognition of the foreign halal certification body. Meaning, for example, if the certifying body in Brazil that certifies beef or mutton products, MUIS, we issue the recognition. We look through the organization's credibility, capability, and other aspects before we are able to recognize. And with that, the logo, the product comes into Singapore, it can be used by MUIS halal applicants. Right? And finally, I think the last bit, where perhaps Ustazah Atiqah and myself we are specifically from the stakeholder engagement. So this is like a different phase of halal development. We are not supposed to be the fierce ones. In fact, if you follow us on Halal SG on our socials, we are like your friendly neighborhood cats. Yeah.
Okay, tell us more about these cats.
So what we do is basically dish out information mainly for consumers, mainly Muslim community or even non-Muslims. The whole objective is to ensure public are able to understand the certification process and eventually they are empowered not only to rely on the halal logo but also have that knowledge in the absence of halal logo, what can they do or not.
Yeah,
So,
now that you mentioned about the halal logo, whenever we talk about halal, that's the first thing that comes to mind, right? Is this halal certified or not? In fact, when we went on Instagram stories and we asked questions to the public, a lot of questions came in. So we're going to answer some of your questions later on. Ustazah, would you like to add anything to that?
Yeah, I think
In particular,
she
for
has
now, yeah, okay.
summarized our unit quite well.
Mashallah. Okay, great. So I'm very curious to know as well, perhaps both of you can share a little bit more about your individual backgrounds, okay, and how your expertise contributes to your role in the stakeholder engagement.
Okay, so
Bismillah.
for myself, I graduated from a local madrasah. Then I went to Al-Azhar University. So after I returned, so MUIS is actually my first job lah. Starting at MUIS, I think both of us have worked in like several subunits within the halal unit development itself lah. So I started off as the part of the halal certification section.
Okay.
So we do approving, we do auditing and things associated with halal certification itself lah. So after that, right now I am currently with the halal stakeholder engagement, where we do more of the halal public education front. We do Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
Oh,
So,
okay.
Yes, so it's these platforms are actually meant for us to be able to deliver information about halal and also halal certification to the public, and also to educate them on, for example, if like Nuraini just now said, for example, if there is no halal certificate, for example, what can you do about how can you ascertain that the food is halal, for example, and things like that lah.
So as for myself, after about 6-7 years in the private industry, I switched to public service in MUIS. So I did food technology. So I am grateful to to be doing something that is related to what I did back then in school. So when I joined MUIS, I was involved in operations for over 10 years before looking into this new role under stakeholder engagement. So both Atiqah and myself, we in MUIS we have pretty similar experiences. In fact, both of us, we were part of the approval team back then.
Okay.
Before we go into the other aspect of halal development.
Sounds very dynamic. I'm reading your backgrounds and the kind of experience that both of you have from operations, policy.
So that's the general outfit of halal development. We have officers from the Sharia background, we have technical officers, we have officers from the enforcement background now because the complexity is getting more and more. Public expectations are higher. The number of halal applicants are increasing, so we need to build up our capabilities and the dynamics within the team.
Mashallah. Yeah. I guess with the challenges evolving, especially with AI, so many new trends coming up, so many expectations or rising expectations from the public. Upskilling is so important, right?
That's right.
And it's great to hear about the dynamic experience both of you have. So I'm curious to know also, this particular question, a lot of people are very interested to know about. So I'll give you more airtime about this. What are the 7 types of MUIS Halal certification schemes? And how do they cater to different industries?
Yeah, I think halal certification we can categorize that we are serving two different industries lah. So the food manufacturing industries and also the food service industry. So the food manufacturing industry, there are several schemes that can be applicable to them. So for example, the product scheme, we issue the product scheme to specific products for manufactured from like any one company lah. So another one will be the whole plant scheme. That one will be issued to the manufacturing facility itself and all the products within that particular manufacturing facility. So the difference between product and also manufacturing whole plant product is that the product scheme will only be for specific products only, and the whole plant is for the entire operations lah. So whatever that they manufacture will be halal certified by us also.
I see.
So other than that, we also have poultry abattoir schemes. Scheme that one will be for slaughterhouses that do slaughtering for chickens in Singapore. So that one will be applicable for them. But if the slaughtered birds will be cut into different parts and then will be sold as different parts, for example, when there is processing involved, that will be under product scheme lah.
I see. There's distinction between the two.
Yes, yes. So another one will be the endorsement scheme. Endorsement scheme is more for example, this is more for trade entry requirements lah. So for example, if a product is going to be exported to some, maybe one of the Middle East countries, for example, sometimes some of them require another layer of certification for the batch of the goods lah, for example. So that will be under the endorsement scheme lah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that will be under that industry lah. So the next food service industry, I think we all of us here would have already seen one of the certificates issued to the eating establishment scheme lah. So this one will be more for restaurants, for hawker centers, for hawker stalls lah. More to hawker stalls. Each hawker stall will be issued individual certificates. And then next one will be the food preparation scheme. So food preparation scheme will be more for catering kitchens and also central kitchens for restaurants, for example. So these are the 7 schemes that we issue the halal certificates under these schemes lah, to cater to different types of business needs and operations.
I think first and foremost, we need to understand how the interior design industry works here in Singapore. So majority of the IDs or the people who work within the interior design companies, most of them are actually freelancers. They are not employed based on a full-time basis. So they work on a commission basis. So, and some business models or some ID companies want to have a lot of ID so that they can close a lot of projects on. My personal tip here is start with visiting the IDs that you have shortlisted or you're interested in. Look at their place of work, look at how they work, look at their office. Once you have done that, I think what you should also do here is to ensure that these IDs that you potentially want to engage are HDB licensed. Last but definitely not least, and to me the most important, because I think nobody do this. Okay. Once you have confirmed, or let's say for example, you really want to sign with this ID company, right? Go to Accra website and pull out the company's profile. Firstly, you know who are the directors, you know where is their office, you know when they were incorporated. Most importantly, you know how much they actually put in as the initial investment or the capital. So in the context of my industry, right, the ID industry, right, I always advise my clients, don't look for cheap, look for value. Okay? Because cheap don't guarantee you that you're gonna get what you want. Okay? Because in order to be cheap, there are corners that I need to cut. But instead look for value. And when I talk of value here, it's not just what I use to build your home, how I communicate with you, how prompt am I? You know, how am I how I can advise you. You know, these are all the value I add. You know, so like for us, because I maintain a very small team, right? So we only manage between 2 or 3 projects a month. We don't do a lot of projects. Okay. So this way, my people are better at managing that project. We are at site more frequent. We are constantly there to check if there are mistakes being made. You know, and our communication with the owners are more frequent, more kira macam more in depth lah. We are able to correct.
I see. Is this easily retrievable knowledge? If let's say we were to Google, where can I go to find out more information about this?
So actually our website, which is www.halal.sg, is already packed with like a lot of information lah. So for example, the how to apply, we have like a specific section for it that you can go through and then look through. Okay, for this scheme, for example, what would be which type of business, for example, will be suitable for that kind of scheme. So all of this is already specified in the website lah. We also have self-study resources actually. So for any companies that are actually interested to be halal certified, they can go to our website and go through our self-study punya resources.
Wow. Okay.
So
So it's a lot of resources. Essentially, the information is out there.
yes.
Okay.
And to add to that, I mean, there is the function of the self-study resources because one of the requirements, or rather one of the halal certification condition, is for the halal team leader and the halal assurance officer to attain a pass in the halal competency assessment. So back then, several years ago, we used to only recognize, or rather we used to make it training as a compulsory requirement.
Yes.
However, this time around, effective last year, March to 2023, it is a requirement for companies applying for halal certification to attain a pass in their halal competency assessment. So it will give them the added information, or rather competence to be able to apply for halal certification and comply with the MUIS Halal Certification, not only during the audits but throughout the certification duration.
And that's so important, right? Because after the approval, it's a long time.
Exactly.
Right? Most people just focus on certification. All right, great. So let's move on. So how does MUIS Halal Certification impact various industries? And what role does it play in gaining consumer trust?
So halal certification is a mark of trust and confidence. So with that, there is a certain kind of standards which consumers put trust in a certification body. For example, MUIS in Singapore, that there has been due diligence of checks and processes involved. So of course, in doing so, MUIS Halal Certification, we have a lot of responsibility to ensure the audits are carried out thoroughly, and other information assessed before an establishment or a product can be certified as halal.
I see. Okay. So I guess that's very important for us to know, because sometimes some knowledge is not easily available. So I think it's good that we clear the air. Following that, what are some of the common misconceptions? We know so much. I mean, social media is rife with a lot of misconceptions about things surrounding the MUIS Halal Certification. So could you share some of the common misconceptions, debunk some myths for us? How would you address them?
Okay, so from our unit itself, we are actually doing some myth busting ourselves lah. So we have this hashtag that we call hashtag mythbuster. So we try to bust some myths surrounding halal and also halal certification lah. So for example, one of the things that we quite regularly hear is that halal certification is expensive.
Is it now? Let's see. Okay.
So I think expensive is subjective.
Okay.
But okay, so for example, we have people coming to us. I just give you an example lah.
Sure.
So the hawker stall fees, for example, for like a stall that does not exceed 13 square meters, that one is around 300-ish. But we have had people coming to us thinking that it's like 3 times as much.
Oh, really?
So sometimes this kind of things comes from people who actually they have not checked yet lah how much is the cost lah.
I see.
So that is one.
Okay.
So another one, next myth that we always hear is that halal certification, if you want to apply for halal certificate,
Yeah.
all your ingredients must have a halal certificate, even sugar, for example. So this is not entirely true lah. So while it is true that all your ingredients must be substantiated with some kind of a documentation proof, for example, but there is actually different types of risk categories.
Okay.
So for example, we have the high risk category. So high risk category is for meat and poultry items like your meat, your mutton, your chicken. So this one, of course, can only be verified that it is halal if there is a valid traceable halal certificate. So certificate holders must attain the valid halal certificate that is actually traceable to the product that they are buying itself lah. So that is one. There is also low risk category. That one will be like for your unprocessed vegetable, raw vegetable, for example,
raw vegetables.
raw fruits, and also maybe unprocessed seafood, for example. So these are all under the low risk category. So this one would be it would suffice if we know that the items are not processed lah. So obviously you do not need a halal certificate for this. And everything else would fall under the medium risk category. So for the medium risk category, for example, if it's items like tofu, for example. So tofu, just a clear product label would suffice. As long as you can see what is the ingredient, that is perfectly sufficient lah. But for items that has undergone a more complex processing method, for example, that would need perhaps a halal questionnaire that is already completed and also endorsed by the manufacturing company itself, so that we know exactly what is inside the product itself lah.
Okay, all right. So I guess this kind of dispels a lot of myths, and at the same time, I think it helps to clear the air. Yeah, so I think it's very important.
All right, and if Sufyan, we could ask you one question, and this question back at you. So what have you heard? Some misconceptions on halal or halal certification.
What have I?
Clarify with us now.
Well, I personally have not heard about the it's expensive one. What I have heard about halal is, well, to be honest with you, I don't hear many misconceptions on a personal level.
Sure.
Yeah, when I'm with my friends and the people that I'm with, not many. I guess because a lot of them probably go to your self-study resources.
You have good friends then.
Probably, yeah.
I think the most important thing for anybody who wants to venture and go out and do their own business is to understand that there is no substitute to hard work. Hard work comes first. Everything else comes second. Because we do know that people view business owners as kurang boss. You guys are bosses. You guys drive nice cars and you guys stay in nice places. Yeah, but you don't understand the struggles to get there. I personally tell myself this: do or do not. There's no try. Courtesy of Yoda.
Okay, so we're gonna take some questions from Instagram, social media, just off the cuff here. So some people are asking, are there any ways to check the MUIS Halal Cert status of a stall if the stall owner claim that they apply but they're waiting for the cert? I think that's a big one.
I think for halal certificate, it's a black and white thing lah. So either you have it or you don't. So even if the stall itself is claiming that they are applying, it's just that lah, because application is not a sure guarantee that you will get the certificate, because you must fulfill the requirements sufficiently for us to give you the halal certificate lah. Okay, so what we would advise instead is that if you are there, you can find the physical copy of the cert lah. So all halal certificate holders, they are actually mandated. Can I say mandated?
It is.
Mandated to display the halal certificates prominently.
Yes.
So they cannot tell you that I don't have my halal certificate now, or is it's in my office. That's not a valid claim lah. So they must display the cert prominently. That is one. And if they do not have the halal certificate, you actually have other means to ascertain whether the food that they serve, whether you can consume or not lah. So for example, if they serve high risk items, for example, if they deal with meat, our advice would be to, for greater assurance, it would be best if you wait for the halal certificate lah. But if they deal with items that are not high risk, then you can ascertain whether there are non-halal ingredients, for example, or if they, the recipes usually, does it include non-halal ingredients and things like that lah, for you to ascertain whether or not you can eat at the
So
premises.
let's thank you so much for sharing about that. Let's end one more question. Social media is asking, is it better to have the MUIS Halal Cert or the Muslim owned cert?
With the halal cats, of course, you will see the halal cert lah.
Yeah, so going back to my earlier point, halal certification is a mark of trust and assurance. So, by definition, halal certification itself means a third party, a credible third party organisation has conducted an audit to certify that the premises or product is certified and suitable for Muslim consumption. So there is a lot of work, rigor that goes into the process. So so if you were to ask us, the answer would be very biased. Of course, halal certification.
Of course, right?
Yeah, but on the other hand, as mentioned earlier, which is the halal certification mark itself is a mark of trust, confidence and assurance. So behind that is a lot of rigor, work that goes behind, for example, the audits, declaration by the companies, the submissions, supporting documents, post-certification checks and so on. So by definition, halal certification itself means that a credible organisation, third-party organisation, has already done its checks to attest that an establishment or food product is halal, suitable for Muslims' consumption. So in short, if you were to ask us the questions, it will be very biased. You say, of course, definitely a halal certificate is better.
I think I would also add, it is based on your business decision also lah. So for companies, we also have Muslim-owned companies that do apply for halal certification because they want to export their products. So yes, it depends on your operation needs, and your aspirations lah, where you want to your company to grow.
So it really depends on the decision of the business owner themselves, I suppose. And I think I would like to thank both of you for being here, because I think there's a lot of things that needs to be clarified, and I think you've answered so many questions, and you're pointing to resources. You can always go online, www.halal.sg.
Or all of us have social media right now. You can find us at Halal SG, where we dish out bite-sized information, videos. So please follow us, and we will be putting out more information out there.
Sure. Thank you so much for being on the show. And definitely I'd like to share that if you enjoyed this episode, please go follow SMCCI on Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, and Instagram, so you can get more of such content. I'd like to thank our venue and media sponsors, Crowd by 3, Studio 5 Corp, for helping us with the production. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And I hope you found value. Till next time. Bye-bye.